Red Riding Hood. There lived a little girl. Her mother loved her without memory, and her grandmother even more. For her granddaughter's birthday, her grandmother gave her a red cap. Since then, the girl went everywhere in it. Neighbors said this about her: "Here comes Little Red Riding Hood." Once Mom baked a pie and said to her daughter, "Go, Little Red Riding Hood, to your grandmother, bring her a pie and a pot of butter and find out if she is healthy." Little Red Riding Hood got ready and went to her grandmother. She goes through the forest, and towards her is a gray wolf. Little Red Riding Hood Photo 3. "Where are you going, Little Red Riding Hood?" Wolf asks. "I go to my grandmother and bring her a pie and a pot of butter." "How far does your grandmother live?" "Far away," says Little Red Riding Hood. "Over there in that village, behind the mill, in the first house from the edge." "Okay," says the wolf, "I also want to visit your grandmother. I'll go down this road, and you go down that one. Let's see which one of us comes first." The wolf said this and ran, which was in his spirit, along the shortest path. And Little Red Riding Hood went along the longest road. She walked slowly, stopping along the way, picking flowers, and collecting them in bouquets. Before she had even reached the mill, the wolf had already galloped up to her grandmother's house and was knocking on the door. Knock, knock. "Who's there?" Grandma asks. "It's me, your granddaughter, Little Red Riding Hood," answers the wolf. "I came to visit you. I brought a pie and a pot of butter." Grandmother was sick at the time and was in bed. She thought that it really was Little Red Riding Hood, and she called out, "Pull the string, my child, and the door will open." The wolf pulled the rope, the door opened. The wolf rushed at the grandmother and swallowed her at once. He was very hungry because he had not eaten anything for 3 days. Then he closed the door, lay down on his grandmother's bed, and began to wait for Little Red Riding Hood. Soon she came and knocked. Knock, knock. "Who's there?" Wolf asks. And his voice is rough, hoarse. Little Red Riding Hood was frightened, but then she thought that her grandmother was hoarse from a cold, and answered, "It's me, your granddaughter. I brought you a pie and a pot of butter." The wolf cleared his throat and said more subtly, "Pull the string, my child, and the door will open." Little Red Riding Hood pulled the rope door and opened it. The girl entered the house, and the wolf hid under the covers and said, "Put the pie on the table, granddaughter, put the pot on the shelf, and lie down next to me." Little Red Riding Hood lay down next to the wolf and asked, "Grandma, why do you have such big hands?" "This is to hug you tighter, my child." "Grandma, why do you have such big ears?" "To hear better, my child." "Grandma, why do you have such big eyes?" "To see better, my child." "Grandma, why do you have such big teeth?" "And this is to eat you faster, my child." Before Little Red Riding Hood had time to gasp, the wolf rushed at her and swallowed her. But, fortunately, at that time, woodcutters with axes on their shoulders were passing by the house. They heard a noise, ran into the house, and killed the wolf. And then they cut open his belly, and Little Red Riding Hood came out, and behind her and grandmother both whole and unharmed.